Good morning, guys. Welcome to Bitcoin Bounce. So, in yesterday's video, I said that we were going to this year trade these 5 charts on a daily basis. We were going to have a look at these 5, and then we would just add wildcard trades as and when if we find anything else, we will just mention it as well and show you guys. But the plan is to on a daily basis trade these fixed 5 charts. So we use TradingView to mark up our charts. So if you go to TradingView and go down to the bottom here, there's this little object tree button. If you click on that, you can make folders, and within the folders put drawings. So I use different time frames, and then I put the drawings for that time frame in one folder, and I can then just turn it on and off. So that works easier for me. So finding a trade for me, I would start to just get a bias from the weekly, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour. So I would just have a look and see, look at the bigger picture, and then zoom into a actual buy on the 15-minute chart. So make decisions on the 1 hour, but just bearing in mind what happens on the weekly, daily, and 4 hour, and then from that 1 hour decision, just use the 15-minute to try and find a good entry, or between the 1 hour and the 15, I would then use to try and find a good entry. So the first thing that I would start with is on the weekly, then is just to do supply and resistance zones. So these are just the horizontal lines, and in the beginning I would like do the highs and lows, look for big moves, big candles. So say you would put one there, and I don't know why this isn't dragging now at the moment. Sorry, I don't know if my keyboard is not right. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. So I wanted to make a couple. So with the support and resistance zones, one might say put one up there, put one down there, and at the ends or beginnings, opens and closes of big candles. So in the end, it's kind of confusing, and it wastes a lot of time to actually find all these positions. Some people say you must use the wicks of the candles. I preferred the bodies when I was doing it this way. I think that's better. That's where the actual price was. The wick might have been too quick, but either way. So lots of people use the wick. Some use the bodies. Some just put a few on. Some put lots. So I was using that method, and it was just really wasting quite a lot of time, until I found this guy that suggested that one just use rounded numbers, which is actually what the banks use. So I just call it the bank numbers, for lack of a better word. So the bank numbers on Bitcoin. Let me just take all these off. I've mapped all this out yesterday, so just to save us some time. So the bank numbers for Bitcoin would then just be on the thousands, so 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and so on, and then in between as well. Or so say at the moment we're 21,100, so the closest number would be 21,500 and 21,000. So those are the levels that I would then just mark out. So I've done that, so I don't have a fright when you see them all coming up, but that's then those levels, and I'm just doing this around the current price action. So it looks crazy looking at it like this, but don't worry, you'll see the point of this later on when we start zooming in. So this would then just be the absolute bank numbers. See, so this is the 21,000, 21,500, 22, and so on. So those I'll do, and then I'll just turn off. I'll show you later on how accurate this actually is. It's actually scary when you see how accurate is just doing it like this, and not spending hours and hours trying to decide, are you going to use this week or that body, or which candle are you going to actually use. These are really very, very accurate. So let me turn that off for now. Then also on each level that I look at, each time frame, I would then just see if there's anything else that that is either any kind of pattern or a trend line or whatever else I could find. So yesterday on the weekly, yeah, there wasn't anything specific that I could see other than maybe like a cup and handle kind of pattern forming there, but it wasn't very convincing, so I didn't mark that up. So the only thing that I did find is the symmetrical triangle. So I marked that up, put it in a different folder, and we can then just turn that on and off. So that was all I saw on the weekly. Then I went to the daily chart, and then I turned everything off so that you don't get influenced by what has come before, and just look at it at this time frame on its own. So looking at the daily, then I found eventually this pattern here, which was just a normal parallel channel, downwards running channel. So what I also do is just to do the time frames in different colors. So I'll just quickly show you the colors that I use, but obviously you can use your own. So you can custom select your colors. So I use that color for monthly. This is weekly, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, then 30 minutes and 15 minutes, and then I just use these 3 occasionally. So I have a set color so that later on you get used to your colors, and on any chart you open, if I see blue, then I know, okay, that was I drew that up on the 1 day chart. So that just helps if you get used to your colors. I do the same with the MAs as well. So I always use purple for the 800. The 200 I use the red, and then 50 I use this bright green, and pink I use for the 20. So I always use the same color, so that eventually you do so many charts, and it's so much that you always then know what you're looking at immediately. You don't have to waste time to go and try and figure that out again, so it just saves time. So getting back to Bitcoin, on the daily, then I found this channel. So I'm starting to use these more and more. So they are also just insanely accurate once you find a good channel, and they seem to just pop up everywhere all the time. So just looking at this one, you've got the top and the bottom, and then it always does this like little if you draw it up with this little parallel channel goodie in TradingView, it does this middle line as well. So I found this low there, that wick there, and I drew it with the high there and the high there, and then I just pull it down and saw, okay, so just to see if you can actually spot a channel somewhere. You just look at the highs and lows anyway. So I found this, and if you look at the middle here, you can see there it acted, when it hit the middle here, acted as support, resistance, then dropped through, came down, hit the bottom, then acted as resistance again, resistance, then support, resistance here, tried to break out, was about to get support, dropped back down, then resistance broke up, it was holding a support then, and then dropped right down, hit the bottom again, came up to the top again, rejected from that middle line. So you see how often it actually comes back. So this middle line is a very accurate target if you're going in that direction from whichever side. So these channels for me really work very, very well to kind of give an idea of a upcoming target or trade that's coming up. So this is what I found on the daily. Let's turn that off then. Then we go on 4 hour. I didn't actually see anything yesterday, so other than maybe this could be a bull flag, but I don't like the look of it. Normally a bull flag would look like that, and this doesn't look to me personally like a bull flag, but I think lots of people would see it as such, and it could be, but I didn't mark it as a bull flag. So on the 4 hour I didn't really see anything. On the 1 hour, that's then where I try to find all my levels and trades. So on the 1 hour I saw quite a bit. So if we turn on, yeah, this is one pattern that I saw. So this is just a symmetrical triangle that could be. It still looks good at the moment. So that's one thing I found. So I would then just mark all of them up and occasionally just re-look at them every day when I get back to the chart. Just quickly flip through them and see if something's been invalidated or not. Then I would delete it, or as long as it's still there and active and different to the other patterns that I've got, I'll just keep it around just to check occasionally. So that's what the one I found. Then the other was again one of these channels, parallel channel, and again you can see, so we hit the highs there, we hit the lows here, and on the middle it was acting as support resistance. There it was resistance and so on. So that middle line kind of looks fairly accurate to me, and then occasionally we hit the highs and the lows, so I like this as well. Then on I also found this just a trend line that we haven't broken back down yet, so I'd keep this around, because if we do break that, I would for sure look for a short here if we break under this, because we've been trading above it since January. So it's quite a what's it, January the 12th, so not that long ago, but we've been above it for quite a few days. So I keep that around as well, just to check occasionally. So if we break down there, I'll definitely use that. Then I look for just levels where we are trading. So obviously around about here something happened, around about here something happened, and you can see, yeah, we've hit the lows quite a few times, and yeah, we hit the highs quite a few times. So I just mark up these little areas, zones, of where there was previously quite a bit of support and resistance, where prices hovered before it broke through or so. So because odds are good when you get back to that position that the same thing is going to happen. It might not, but it might also do. So yeah, I've just marked up. These have just, you just always look left. This was quite far left. You can see here also we came in and we hit that zone. So the same thing happened on the left with these two. So I've just mapped out those areas, and I then just keep them around as potential targets where we are heading. What I also noticed then on the 1 hour yesterday was that we made this high, which is the current high at the moment. The local high is 21,550, and then the next time we came up to that area, we were rejected there. So I just drew this line in here then yesterday, and we actually came up last night, I think, and hit this area again. So this area here is quite strong, this zone, but just this line, we would obviously have to break above this line. So wherever we cross this line, we would have to cross it sometime and retest it, and settle above this line before we could go any further. So it could be that we just go sideways and we eventually cross the line round about here, and then we still have this zone to cover. So either way, we will have to break out above both of them, above the zone, because the zone is quite strong. If you look there was a big rejection the last time that we came into the zone. So the zone is strong, and then obviously the line is strong as well. It's been hit now 3 times and been rejected 3 times. So I just keep that hanging around as well. So this is kind of where I would end in my trade, in my markup, and then look for trades within this zone. So I would then flip through them. So I'll do that in the next video anyway, when we look at the charts for every day. But then I'll use this chart so that you guys can then see where all this came from. And then just to give you an idea, here now is I just had optional trades here, so just bear in mind that I did this yesterday. So these were all the potential trades that one could look for. So I marked this up. It was around about yesterday, 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. So we were only up until that area there. We can actually replay it for you if you want. So it was around about there that I marked up. We were there, and I then thought, okay, so the possible trades that could happen, we're kind of in the middle of the zone at the moment, so there's not really an entry here. So you could either wait for us to come and hit the highs and then look for a short, or wait for us to hit this zone at the bottom and look for a long back up. So that I would then look on the 15-minute chart to find that. Or if we broke through that yellow line and through this area, yeah, we could look for a high. Once we settled above this area and look for our next trade, potential buy trade there. Or if we broke down to the bottom, if we broke below the zone, we could then, if we're in a trade from up there, we could hold it. Or if from here we would just go down and in that level eventually break under, then we could look for a new trade from under that level to the next level, or wait then for, well, we'd obviously take that trade, and then once we hit this bottom level we could then look for a trade back up. So these are kind of the potential trades that I could see playing out at the moment. And if we then just fast forward to what happened last night, so and where we are now at the moment, so we came in, we hit the highs there. Oh, sorry, I just want to cancel this. Where do I turn this off now? Okay, there we are. So this is back to where we are at the moment. So yesterday when we were here, we could have gotten into a short trade there, but this is now where the other markups come into play. Before I would have taken that short, so this was the obvious trade to take. Is we hit that level, we were obviously rejected, so right there I would have gotten into a short, but I would have also flipped through my markups that I've of the other time frames. And if you then turn on the support and resistance, you could see that there's the 21,000 resistance would have come into play on that trade. So I wouldn't have gotten into this because there was not much in it. So I would have definitely gotten in on the trade. There we were rejected, we broke down below the zone again, so one could have traded this little, but it didn't seem worth it to me to just go for this small percentage. You'd have probably got, so there was kind of like a 1% trade in it, so I wouldn't have got in because this 21,000 resistance I thought we would bounce off, or we would just need confirmation at least whether we were going to go through or not. So this is kind of a difficult area where we're in at the moment. So it's kind of difficult unless you're looking for just these small little scalp trades. So if you were trading leverage, you could have definitely then gotten a certain 1% trade, at least from there down to that line. So that's why I keep these support and resistance lines around, because you'll see they just come into play quite often. And even the in-between numbers, so you see from 20,500 to 21, the other middle number, the 2750, if we can just quickly draw that out for you, and I'll just show you how accurate that actually is. So 2750, so these are all the exact bank numbers that I would look at, and if you draw that in, you can see when we came down here how it was very good support again there and there, and how it was resistance here. So see, without spending hours and hours looking at which candle are we going to now draw this line at, there was this nice drop, so it would have kind of been an obvious area to put the specific one, but they're not always obvious, and they're all over the show. So if you just use the bank numbers 20,000 on Bitcoin, and if you're looking for your little scalp trade between these, I can guarantee you that it's always like a safe trade. Look from here to the top, from there to that line. It's just sticks to these numbers, so you don't have to spend hours. You can just use the bank numbers, and you'll see when we get to the other charts as well how reliable these actually are. If we go back in time a bit, you can also see that we came up to that line, broke through, hit that line, so we got rejected there, and you could have gotten in on a trade here or in on a trade there, and again we hit that high. From here we went to that one, from here we went to that one, from here we went to that one. So you see how accurate they are without having to spend hours to actually find them. So they are also important, just obviously to just keep in mind. So that's why before taking a trade, I would then just flip through all these little folders and see, okay, there is a resistance line or support or whatever coming up. And then like also at that the triangle on the weekly, you can see if I turn that on and off, you can see that appearing or not. So it actually came into play when we approached that yellow line as well. So the weekly support or the weekly resistance, I mean, was also at that exact zone. So one could have been fairly confident to immediately there even get in on a short if you saw that on the 15 minutes that this had rejected, because there's confluence. And I think even that daily parallel channel that we looked at, look, there's like exactly at the top. So there you could see then that there was quite a lot of resistance. I would quickly, before getting into a trade, I would have gone to the 15 minute, and when we got to that area and you got that first rejection there already, you could quickly just flip through your folder, see if there's anything that you need to be concerned about around about taking a short, and one could either then have gotten into that short targeting this, when we hit that halfway line, you could have closed your trade or whatever, moved your stop loss. But it did actually play out that the 21,000 did end up to be support and flip that trade back up to the top side. So one would have to get a convincing drop to the below this 21 to actually get in a longer term short, I think. Anyway, I think that's basically what I wanted to show you. So we'll use this same setup later on today when I do my video and going through all the charts, and then I'll do all these other coins for you guys as well. So I think that's it. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you guys later for the next video. Cheers.